Hello, this is the news on NTA International and we are live in Abuja. I am Jumo Yusuf. First, the headlines. Precaution, then panic about COVID-19 as Dangote gets commendation by President Buhari for donation of 200 million naira. From the foreign scene, correspondent updates on latest figure of COVID-19 prevalence in Africa. Federal High Court grants interim injunction stopping Adams Oshomole from parading as national chairman of All Progressives Congress. Dr. Folashade Omolara Yemi Esan has formally assumed duty as substantive head of the Civil Service of the Federation. The new head of service was sworn in by President Muhammadu Buhari after confirmation of her appointment last Friday. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the ceremony preceded the meeting of the Federal Executive Council.
I will preserve, protect and defend the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Born in Kaduna in 1964, the new head of service, Dr. Folashade Yemi Esan, hails from Kogi State. She became permanent secretary in the year 2012 and at various times served in the office of the head of civil service as well as ministries of information, education and petroleum resources. Dr. Yemi Esan was appointed acting head of the Civil Service of the Federation 5 months ago to succeed Winifred Oyo-Ita, whose retirement from service was approved by the president. The new head of service has been engaged in efforts at enhancing the efficiency and integrity of the civil service, resuscitating service-wide training, as well as working on ways to better the relationship between ministers and permanent secretaries for enhanced service delivery.
Congratulations.
There was no presidential address at the swearing-in ceremony, but the appointee, Dr. Yemi Esan, told NTA News that she knows exactly what President Muhammadu Buhari wants in the civil service as the engine of growth.
I'd like to assure him that by the grace of God, I will work to ensure that his programs, his projects come to fruition and that the service delivery is improved tremendously.
Some permanent secretaries spoken to described the appointment of the new head of service, Dr. Folashade Yemi Esan, as well deserved.
And we are very hopeful she will give us the right leadership to ensure that we reposition the civil service in this country.
I've had to work directly with her in the last 6-7 months. A very principled administrator who knows the service and the nitty-gritty of the public service. And she's so passionate about making the public service of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to be an excellent service delivery center.
Dozens of other permanent secretaries, heads of departments and agencies, as well as family members were on hand to show solidarity. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still staying with the presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari felicitated with former President Olusegun Obasanjo on his 83rd birthday on March 5th, 2020. He congratulates him for a life of courage, dedication and service to Nigeria, Africa and humanity. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says Chief Obasanjo's commitment to Nigerian nationhood remains outstanding and commendable, while also underscoring his sacrifice for the continent, including standing up for democracy in many countries. As the former president celebrates the auspicious occasion, President Buhari prays Almighty God grant him longer life and good health and strength to keep serving the nation nationally and the continent. President Muhammadu Buhari has commended Aliko Dangote Foundation for donating 200 million naira to assist in combating influx of COVID-19 into the country. The appreciation, through a statement by the Senior Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari says, hand in hand, standing shoulder to shoulder, we can confront our challenges as a country. This is a path for us all to follow as a people. He recalls the organization's past donation of 1 billion naira to tackle Ebola virus in Africa, commending such public-spiritedness to other well-to-do individuals and groups. The president reiterates that Nigeria should take necessary hygiene precautions rather than panic about the COVID-19 after discovery of one case in the country last week. President Buhari says government at various levels are poised to ensure that the country and the people remain safe from the virus, which is spreading rapidly in many parts of the world. As states continue to complement the effort of the federal government, the Benue State Executive Council has approved the sum of 10 million naira for the prevention of coronavirus in the state and also expanded the membership of the State Emergency Response Committee. Benue State Commissioner for Information, Culture and Tourism, Ngunan Adingi, says this was while briefing newsmen at the end of the State Executive Council meeting in Mokodi. Bem Hanya reports.
The Benue State Executive Council's decision to expand the membership of the Emergency Response Committee on Coronavirus in Benue State, as well as the release of 10 million naira, is to increase awareness and buy medical protective equipment to help the prevention of the disease. The council also earmarked the Public Health Center, Agan, as an isolation center in case of an outbreak in Benue State. Approval was also given for the steering committee for the increase of livestock production, maize and cowpea.
If there is a need for cases that are severe, more PHCs will be allotted. But for now, that's the level of preparedness and that's what government is doing. And funds have also been released to that effect.
2 road contracts were terminated. They are the Sankara-Chito Vasi 41.92 kilometer road awarded at 4.8 billion naira since 2012 and Daudu Bajimba Road awarded to Hajar Construction Company since 2006. The Executive Council also approved scholarship for Benue State students in the 2018-2019 academic session. In Makudi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
Now to other matters. As for news from the financial sector, let's join Onengie Fineface.
As the world continues to grapple with the impact of coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, the World Bank has committed $12 billion in aid for developing countries grappling with the spread of the virus. The emergency package includes low-cost loans, grants and technical assistance. The action comes as leaders around the world pledge to shield their countries from the economic impact of the outbreak as a result of warnings that slowdown from the outbreak could push countries into recession. Meanwhile, Nigeria's 2020 budget may be one of the major casualties of the ravaging coronavirus, as fears of a major economic slump sent oil prices to their lowest in more than a year. The budget, which was based on a projection of oil production of 2.18 million barrels per day, with an oil benchmark of $57 per barrel, dropped to about 49 barrels over the weekend. OPEC Secretary General Mohamed Barkindo says demand by major consuming economies have declined by as much as 3.8 million barrels a day, but OPEC is strategizing on how to best mitigate the effect. Now for some good news. Nigeria has overtaken South Africa again as the biggest economy in Africa, following South Africa's slip into a second recession in just 2 years. Data from Statistics South Africa shows that South Africa's gross domestic product shrank by 1.4% in the fourth quarter of 2019, following a revised 0.8% contraction in the third quarter. Nigeria's GDP grew by 2.55% in the fourth quarter 2019, its highest quarterly growth since the recession of 2016. Nigeria's economic growth beat forecasts in the fourth quarter, helping its economy to expand the most in 4 years in 2019 as oil output increased and the central bank took steps to boost credit growth. Without good news, we'll draw the curtain on business news. I'm Onengie Fineface.
And for more reports outside Nigeria, including update on COVID-19 in Africa, let's join Joyce Metu.
Glad to have you join us on this segment of the news. We begin with a global update on COVID-19. Senegal's health ministry confirms that a second person in the country has tested positive for coronavirus. It says the patient is an 80-year-old French national who arrived in the West African country on February 29. News of this second case in Senegal brings the total number of confirmed cases on the African continent to 12. Other countries with patients who tested positive are Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, and Tunisia. In the meantime, Kenyans risk being fined $50,000 or be jailed for 2 years for publishing or sharing fake news about outbreak of coronavirus. And Iran has temporarily released more than 54,000 prisoners in an effort to combat the spread of the new coronavirus. In other news, United States military has carried out airstrike against Taliban fighters in Afghanistan, hours after President Donald Trump said he had a very good talk with a leader of the group. The U.S. signed a deal with the Taliban on Saturday aimed at bringing peace to Afghanistan after years of war. A U.S. forces spokesman said it launched the airstrike Wednesday in response to Taliban fighters attacking Afghan forces in Helmand province. And to U.S. elections, Joe Biden has won 9 of the 14 states that voted to pick a Democratic White House candidate on Super Tuesday, a remarkable rebound for his campaign. However, Mr. Sanders is projected to win California, the biggest prize of the night, as well as 3 other states that lead the race to face Republican President Donald Trump in November. And that ends this segment. Thanks for watching. I am Joyce Umitu.
Thank you, Joyce. The coalition of civil society and youth groups in Nigeria have commended the present administration for promoting good governance, justice and meeting the needs of Nigerians through citizens-driven projects. The civil group at a media briefing in Abuja noted that the anti-corruption drive of President Buhari has put to a halt the several acts of financial fraud and secured convictions. They also pointed out that since 2015, the administration has introduced programs and projects such as the Anchor Borrower Scheme and Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprise, LIFE, which had made the non-oil sector vibrant.
Cooperatives are being established nationwide under the community value chain groups, which will have multiply effects to reach millions of people. 1,995,500 youths and 997,500 women for enhanced productivity.
They have been engaged in the agricultural sector, transforming them from idleness to productivity.
Huge investments in sectors such as roads, rail, aviation, health, security and efforts at recovering looted funds. The group unanimously agreed are indications that government is keen to drive the change agenda.
The government of President Muhammadu Buhari have done well. They have done their best to educate Nigeria about coronavirus.
The civil group advised Nigerians to remain calm and observe high hygiene practice. This is the news reaching you live from Abuja on NTA International. We'll take a break right now. We'll be back.
COVID-19 transmission is mostly through droplets from sneezing and saliva. The most effective way to protect yourself from the virus is to practice good personal hygiene. Wash hands with soap under running water or use an alcohol-based sanitizer if water is not available. Maintain at least 2 meters distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Cover your mouth and nose with your elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of the used tissue immediately. If you have traveled recently to a country with COVID-19 outbreak in the last 14 days and you have a fever, cough or breathing difficulty, call NCDC toll-free numbers before going to the hospital. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
You're watching the news on NT International. The 64th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, scheduled to commence on Monday, the 9th of this month, has been called off, following global threat posed by the outbreak of coronavirus. The Minister of Women Affairs, while giving a briefing on the development, says activities will now be coordinated nationally. The contribution of Nigerians in the diaspora, especially women, has again been recognized. This time it is the bestowment of the highest honor in Burkina Faso, the Order of the Stallion on the Nigerian ambassador to Burkina Faso, Rahamatu Dunama Ahmed, whose tenure just ended. The ceremony, which was performed by Burkina Faso's Foreign Affairs Minister Alpha Bari, was used to appreciate the contributions of Ambassador Rahamatu and Nigeria to peace, regional stability and the development of Africa. President of Burkina Faso especially thanked the outgoing ambassador for the role played in strengthening relations between Nigeria and Burkina Faso. Now to judiciary. A federal capital territory high court in Jabi, Abuja has granted an order of interim injunction stopping Adams Oshomole from parading himself as the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress. Ruling on the application brought before the court by Mustafa Salihu and 5 others, Justice Danladi Senchi granted the order on the ground that the plaintiffs have been able to show that Adams Oshomole was suspended by his ward, Esako West, Ward 10 in Edo State. Justice Senchi says political parties must be bound by their constitution, and having been suspended by his word, Adams Oshomole is restrained from functioning as the national chairman of the party, pending the hearing and determination of the substantive suit. Hearing on the matter has been fixed for the 7th and 8th of April 2020.
What it means is that from this very moment, the first defendant, Mr. Adams Oshomole, ceases to be the chairman of APC. That's what it means. At least it's an interlocutory injunction. What it means is that until the substantive suit is decided, he can no longer act as the chairman of APC from this very moment, as the court has ruled.
Counsel to Adams Oshomole, Damian Dodo-san, denied comment. 4 students of the University of Abuja have been arraigned before the Magistrate Court of the Federal Capital Territory for allegedly using forged certificates of the National Examination Council to obtain admission into the university. The 4 students are facing a charge of forgery. Olabode Arewa has more.
3 of the 4 suspects, Teresa Efyong, Solomon Victor and Abdulkabir Muhammad, pleaded not guilty to the allegation of forgery made against them by the University of Abuja. The 4th defendant, Adama Joy, who is still at large, was absent. The police prosecutor, Chijoke Okezie, informed the court that the fake NECO certificates were discovered by the University of Abuja during the certificate verification. He said the alleged offense is in breach of Section 364 of the Penal Code and indicated readiness to proceed with the trial. Counsel to the 3 defendants, Dan Angel, however, pleaded for an adjournment to enable him prepare the defense. He also pleaded for their bail pending the course of trial, since they are still presumed innocent. The prosecution did not oppose the bail application. The presiding magistrate, Idaya Tolaide, granted the defendants 200,000 naira bail each with a surety in like sum, who must not be lower than a level 8 civil servant resident within the jurisdiction of the court.
They have been arraigned in the court for the offences of forgery. Bail is a right. They are entitled to bail. Okay. As long as they will come back whenever they are asked to come back.
The court adjourned the case to the 23rd of April 2020 for commencement of trial. The move by NECO to drag the suspects to court is part of a wider plan to crack down on individuals using forged NECO certificates in tertiary institutions across the country. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
To other matters now, key players in the engineering sector want a policy that will prioritize the building and strengthening of long-term engineering capability that will respond to current threats and in future-proof economies against emerging challenges. This is as Nigerian engineers join the rest of the world to mark the inaugural 2020 World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development. Justin Bem Onyi reports.
It aims at improving public understanding of how engineering and technology is central to modern life and sustainable development. So, have you imagined the advancements in medical facilities that mankind has witnessed over time? Or the innovations that have enhanced mass communication? Maybe we should also mention the Industrial Revolution and improvements in teaching and learning, as well as many other activities of human endeavor. One thing common about this development is that they are achieved with the growth of engineering ingenuity. The consideration of the value of engineering to existence is the wisdom behind setting aside March 4th annually by UNESCO and WFEO as World Engineering Day for Sustainable Development, trailblazing this year. The emphasis coming along with the celebration lies on strengthening the capacity of engineers and related organizations to impact positively on sustainable development goals.
Engineering is everywhere. Engineering is in every facet of studies or discipline. That's the more reason why we must celebrate engineering and engineers.
We need Nigerian engineers to develop Nigeria. We need Nigerian engineers to develop Nigeria because we are doing it for two reasons. First, as Nigerians, we want our country to develop, then looking for money.
So that is why it is very important for us to have a deliberate policy, to train our people, and there's no way you can train your people till the institutions of engineering in the country are really up to date, with the current trends in engineering the world over. And there is no way these engineers also, even after the training, will be proficient in their jobs if there are no good engineering companies that are very active, that are actively involved in day-to-day work of the needs of society.
An advocacy project on science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and artificial intelligence was inaugurated in the course of the World Engineering Day celebration. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Global sports is being adversely affected by the coronavirus outbreak. This special report, Kene Ima Abudike, takes a look at the effects so far.